Hello, my friends. I'm Timothy McMeans. Welcome to Country Wit and Wisdom Storytime. Grab yourself a cup of coffee or tea and pull a chair up to the fireplace. Let the day's worry and stress fall from your mind and your heart. Let our journey begin. Hello, folks. Today's story is called The Mountain. Hope you enjoy it. He stood there from time immemorial, keeping watch. He could not tell you how old he was, but he could tell you that he was there before the old forest grew upon his arms and his shoulders. He was here before the deer and the fox ran upon his hillsides, and before the mighty hawk and eagle flew overhead, wings dripping with the golden light of the lamp of the sky. He thought slow and moved slow. Some people think that mountains never move. Well, that's just not true. From time to time the land shakes and rolls, and that is a mountain stretching after being still for so long. His thoughts were deep and as wide as were his bones, extending down into the good, rich earth. In his estimation, thinking was an activity best taken slowly. It allows one to inspect things from many angles, and then contemplate its meaning. The people who came to climb on him would be wise to consider this, he thought. They always seem to be in such a hurry, scurrying from here to there. He watched high above as an eagle screeched and then dove from his heavenly height, and with surgical precision plucked a fat trout out of the river for his breakfast. Flapping his wings heavily, he made for the shore to enjoy his meal. The circle of life, he thought slowly. He had seen it an untold number of times. One dies to give life to another. It reminded him of what the Master had done for mankind. His brother mountains, far away and across the wide waters, had told him through story and song, past his vibrations through the bones of the earth, what had happened more than 2,000 years ago. He loved the Master and all that he created. It was amazing the variety of creatures that had come from his hand. The squirrel with its quick, almost frantic movements. The bear, large, slow, and lumbering, representing strength and endurance. Then there was the deer with its long legs and graceful movement. Then there were the plants and trees that grew on him and clothed him. He very much loved the trees, as they were more like him than anything else. They were old, and their thoughts were slow and methodical. He loved how they provided fruit and nuts, food for the creatures below, as well as shade from the heat of the sun above. He also loved how their arms gave the birds of the air a place to build their nests on. Most of all, however, he loved to listen to the sound of the breeze, passing through the branches and leaves. It was their song, and it was as beautiful a thing as he had ever heard. Then far below, on his slopes, were the flowers and grass. The Master had no need to create such beauty and such fragrances. However, out of his magnificent love he had, if only to be appreciated by himself and his creatures that roamed the wild land. Yes, he had seen many things, and many changing of the seasons. Spring with the melting of the snow and the promise of new life. Age upon age he had watched as new generations were born, matured, and flourished. He saw the young spotted fawns and the mountain lion cubs, as well as bear cubs playing upon his hillside. Next came summer in its heat and maturity. The wild blackberry and raspberry plants would bring forth their abundance, as well as the wild strawberries. The Master's creatures would feast on these sweet treats and grow fat as they prepared for the cold months ahead. Then slowly the days would shorten and the nights would become longer and cooler. The trees clothed themselves in resplendent colors of burgundy, gold, and orange. A kaleidoscope of colors reigns in the ceilings of the forest during this time. He had to admit that this was his favorite time of the year. The smell of the forest was rich with falling and decaying leaves. The creatures that lived on and around him would start to prepare for the long stretch of cold that lay ahead. Squirrels would finish storing up their nuts, the geese would fly south, and the bears would start to hunt for a good place to sleep for the winter. Then winter would descend from the north, with its icy winds and snow. Even with that, though, there was a certain beauty to it, he thought. When the sun above would shine on the snow, it would glitter like diamonds. The whiteness of it covered everything, and it gave him a feeling of freshness and cleanness. It was a time when activity slowed down, and deep rest was offered many of the woodland creatures. Then it would begin anew again, and spring would ride its unruly horse in, and then tame it. And with its gentleness, warmth, and life would begin again. Time would continue to pass slowly for him, and he would continue to watch and ponder the circle of life. It was his duty. One day the Master would return, and he would make all things new, including him, and the circle of life would be no more. And look, a loud voice from the throne saying, "Look, God's dwelling place is now among the people, and he will dwell with them. They will be his people, and God himself will be with them and be their God. He will wipe every tear from their eyes. There will be no more death, or mourning, or crying, or pain, for the old order of things has passed away." He who was seated on the throne said, "I am making everything new." Then he said, "Write this down, for these words are trustworthy and true." Hope you enjoyed this today, folks, and I look forward to our next meeting together. Take care and God bless.